All right, Wolfpack Nation. While we are here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we are excited about what's to come, the rest of the world right now is locked into this World Cup fever. But again, for fans like us, you got myself, William Smith, Greg Legg, Ethan Barry here as always, and we're so excited here. I don't know if you know, Greg, but what was it? Yesterday, Brazil pulled off an interesting win over who was it?
Well, today they played Japan today.
Oh, it's today. Okay, that's right. Getting my days mixed up here. But we were supposed to go Brazil, but that got done screwed up. But it's whatever. That's old news. We've been there, done that. As always, Wolfpack Nation, we're so excited to be here, and we are ready to rock and roll here with the Tuffy Talk live show. We got a huge, amazing show planned that we are so stoked about here. But I want to kind of get a little bit of a check here. So Ethan, obviously for those that were tuning in last week and just wanted to kind of get a little bit of a checkup on you, man. How's everything going for you, man?
It's still
you were
hot
outside last week, now you're in a brand new spot.
It's still hot. It's 84 degrees in the house currently. You can see the doors open right there.
Yep.
Excuse me. Guy's supposed to be coming tomorrow for AC. So
Fingers crossed for you, buddy.
I know, I appreciate it. It's been almost 2 weeks, I think, at this point. So really a week and a half of it just being 80 plus. And it's no exaggeration when you say it's literally cooler outside than it is inside. So but yeah, hopefully this is the end of it. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, if you haven't already, make sure, first of all, do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps support us in the channel, but also really helps. Oh man, Ethan switching up cameras on me there, threw me off there during my promo there.
Curveball.
Yeah, curveball there. But yeah, if you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button and do us a big favor as well. Hit that like button too as well. So that way the YouTube algorithm will pick this show up, get it out there in front of more NC State fans, y'all. Make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And also to make sure I'll check out our amazing Patreon too as well. We'll be talking a little bit more about here later in the show. I want to kind of start off here, kind of a little bit of a low-hanging fruit for you here, Greg, talking about the jersey number reveals for NC State men's basketball. It was released 3 days ago here. And I want to kind of ask, first of all, to you, Greg, when you see that the numbers are announced, where's the kind of excitement level? Like, does it, is it something of like, hey, let me dial in, or is it more of if you forget to check it, okay, I forgot to check it, kind of deal. Like you kind of see what vibe I'm kind of getting at here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so different now. Like you almost have to study a whole new roster, right? You only have one returning player, and that's number 2, Paul McNeil Jr., and the rest of them you have to break out the program, break out the tweets, and figure out, okay, what does this team look like? So you have to learn new names and numbers every season. Thankfully, basketball has a much shorter roster than football or even baseball, and that process is a little easier. But it does tell you that the season is on the horizon, and it's something that can fill the dog days of summer that we're in right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, Ethan, I mean, looking at the numbers, which again, if you want to see them, you can go to the Pac Men's Basketball Twitter page, or well, you can swipe right on the Twitter post. I'm still sitting here trying to swipe, Greg, on it, but it's not really working for me here. But yeah, so pretty much all the numbers except for 2 players are within 14 or lower here, and you even got Mr. Preston Edmead as well with number 0 here. But the big thing that kind of stands out here, especially with some of these new players like RJ Keem, Kyle Evans, even Djokovic as well, is that it seems like the numbers that they got, Ethan, were the numbers that they had previously. Am I correct with that? Like, there's, it doesn't seem like there's really any players here that I would say the numbers are unexpected.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I mean, I would guess that they just have a certain number of numbers in stock, and
Right.
that's what they get. I don't know if you guys know this, and this rule might have changed, but
I know
at
where
one
you're
point in
going.
time, you know where I'm going with this, Greg. Man, we're just on the same wavelength, aren't we?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Basically, it had to be a number under 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, both
Both of them.
numbers have to be under 5. The NBA, I think, changed that rule, basically to make it easier for the officials when they're telling the scorers table to foul. So my guess is they just have the same numbers in stock and pick one, and then they'll put the name on it. So I think that's why you don't see a ton of turnover.
You know, I did misspeak. I totally forgot about Mikey Wilkins because he was, you know, redshirted last year, but I think he's 21 if my memory is that correct. 21. Do you have it in front of you,
Mikey Wilkins?
That sounds right.
33.
Oh, nope, not even close.
But
anyway, so we had 2 returning players. That was my mistake. It's hard to remember when they don't play at all.
Yeah, 21 Shaw Hall.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like even Darius Adams, I believe he was 11 at Maryland last year too. So, but because that's my other kind of question, like what you're getting at, Ethan, is how do they? Because basically, it's probably a pecking order, basically, basically a list of priority who gets first.
I'm sorry, but again, when you only have 2 returning players, it's not hard to overlap over numbers.
That was exactly what I was getting at. I was like, so how do you determine that? I mean, I guess it's off of seniority, and then from there, it's basically who's in the starting lineup, maybe, or like who's making the most money. I don't know.
You know what it needs to be? They need to bid. They need to say, hey,
dude,
return some of their NIL money.
Return some of their NIL money, put it back in the pot. Because in the pro sports, that's how it works. You know, if a significant player gets traded and wants a jersey number that's already taken, you pay the guy or you give him a gift or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of those today on X. I saw some rookie wanted Jimmy Butler's number, and Jimmy was like, yeah, there's no number. And then I think when did Shohei Ohtani go to the Dodgers? 3-4 years ago?
2 years ago. 2 years ago?
Okay. He bought the family some kind of fancy luxury car. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was I think like $100,000 plus vehicle. Yeah, but you'll see that, and maybe sometimes you'll see a donation to charity or something along those lines.
I mean, I think the most famous one, honestly, is just because his face is everywhere now, and he's told the story a few different times to throw this guy under the bus. But Cam Newton, talking about how I don't even
Clausen.
Yeah, Dave Clausen. That's it. Yeah,
no,
Dave
Jimmy
Clausen.
Dave Clausen.
Jimmy Clausen. See that, but hey, hats off to Cam Newton because he wanted to make it so Jimmy Clausen was irrelevant for asking for this, but he wanted $1 million for number one, and he was like, heck no, screw that. So anyway, but yeah, nope. So again, just like you said, Greg, a little bit of a filler there, but also too, hey, listen, I think you're starting to get to the point now where you're starting to see where now you can start to talk about expectations for this upcoming season here with the roster kind of getting a little bit of a bow feel on it here. But
yeah.
But speaking of though, too, talking about bows here a little bit here, maybe we're finally starting to put some bows here on the schedule too, as well, Ethan. The big story, obviously, right now you got for this upcoming season, you got 2 rivalry games with UNC. 0 home floors for NC State, though. But somehow that's what we're working with for next season here. The man, Ethan and Greg, I mean, I know that you probably saw what I saw after it was announced that NC State backed out of the VCU game, which was, oh man, Gainey's scared us the week off. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, and we'll get to that as well. But I did want to talk about just specifically the UNC piece here, and then we'll talk about the tweet of the week here as well. So make sure to stay tuned for that here. But Greg, I mean, I'll ask you first here, man. I mean, listen, I'm all for always having another opportunity to play Carolina, especially early in the season too, as well. I feel like that these, I just think it's going to be big having one out of the gate, and kind of getting that scratch, getting the opportunity here. Now, I mean, I know there's a lot of talk, and Ethan, you even kind of got into as well on Twitter about, well, which one is going to be tougher, VCU or Carolina, which a lot of that's to be determined because just like Greg said, there's all these teams, all these new players, who knows how they're going to turn out here. But yeah, I mean, like, what would you say, Greg, what was the excitement level for the Carolina, announcement?
I think Obviously, when you play Carolina, the juices get flowing a little bit more, right? Those games just seem to matter and mean a little extra. I do like the fact that there's potential to make money off of this game from some of the things that I've heard and read, where you can, maybe get some sponsorship, and kind of like how we did last year when the men played in Greensboro against Ole Miss, where we had the opportunity to sell some ads and kind of bank a few extra dollars. I am curious to see how, like, the ticket arrangements go, if they kind of give it a 50-50, are they doing allocations, or is it straight up market? I think that I would love to see like an arena, kind of like you do at a bowl game, where half of it's red and half of it's blue. I think that would look pretty cool. I think there's definitely some things that you could do to kind of give it some extra juice, if you will, to this game. But I will say that it does suck that we have to do this in order to get our 2 games, because the ACC is incompetent and that they don't know how to create rivalries, if you will. But I'm glad that these guys came together, however it came about. I've also seen that maybe like the North Carolina congressional, like there was something maybe there. I'm not sure exactly if that's true, or I know that at one point that was in the works, but maybe you guys have some better insight on that. But I'm just glad it's happening twice.
Yeah.
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 I think
Go ahead, Ethan.
I think the state legislation is enforcing it, and I guess from what I understand, I know James talked about this a little bit. I don't think the legislation is approved, but it's just assuming that it's going
Right.
to, and that's why they just went ahead and announced the game. So I think it's just a foregone conclusion. I don't know that either of these 2 teams would agree if they weren't forced to, essentially.
Right.
But it's great, like you said, Greg. It's great. It should happen, and I wish that we've seen it happen in football. We've seen it happen a little bit here and there in baseball. But yeah, it's great. I love it. It sucks, like you said, that it's a non-conference game, but at the same time, it allows you to be creative. Like the stakes are a little lower. Which I for most of the last 20, 25 years, yeah, for most of the last 20, 25 years, if you're NC State, that's a good thing. I don't know if it is anymore, but yeah, like thrilled it's happening, thrilled it's on the schedule. It makes your schedule better.
Ooh. Okay. Can you get? Yeah. Go ahead.
I think you and I are in the same mindset. Is it better with VCU crossed off and UNC
No.
inserted in its place? If that's what it generally is going to be. Right now, that's the only thing we kind of have to base it off of, because it just seems like the timing of it. But you're saying no, huh? Is it better with
No.
VCU?
I don't know. I would start with this. Leighton, please, this is gonna be a clip for you, because I feel like people just have this confused. Why are we assuming that it was a 1-for-1? Like,
Right, that's my point.
Because it was announced at the same time.
Right.
To me, there's these games are very, very different. If this was a 1-for-1 cancellation, you'd be canceling another Power 5 game. You'd be canceling Ole Miss, would be most likely, right? Like that's the most similar 1-for-1 trade, essentially, if that's what State wanted to happen. I don't think it did. So why could you not have had both of these games? Like that's
right.
Why?
And
we
talked about it last week. Yeah, we talked about it last week. If you're going to buy one out, the VCU one made the more sense, because it was going to most likely cost less. But yeah, you're spot on when you say Power 5 to Power 4 to Power 4, neutral court to neutral court. Everything aligns basically the same. And the only argument you would make in that case is I would assume that Carolina is going to be a better basketball team than Ole Miss this year.
Than Ole Miss.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say VCU, and
no.
I don't know that I would assume that.
No, I would not.
I think that's part of it here. Like, have you guys looked at UNC's roster?
It's not the best. It's not vintage.
It's not vintage. Like, I don't know what we're expecting. So Ole Miss is 73rd currently on Torvik. UNC is 53rd, and VCU is 50th. I get it's preseason projections. I get it. But guess what? It was pretty accurate last year. It was within a couple of spots for NC State. Like, to me, if you're within
10,
even 10, 20 spots, like that's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about you're evaluating 350 teams. within 20, like to me, pretty good.
It's pretty solid.
Pretty
Yeah.
good. So that's why I want the VCU game still on the schedules, because I am very confident out of those 3 games, the one I'm most confident in that it will be a quad 1 game, it's VCU.
Agreed.
I'm not, I like UNC, yeah, probably ends up a quad 1 game. I'm not like completely sold on it. Like there's certainly I wouldn't even say a possibility, but like a strong possibility. Like I would put it at like 30-40% chance that UNC is just not good next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one other thing too as well, I saw a stat talking about how this is the first time, I believe, since like the 1930s where NC State versus UNC basketball are going to go against each other with first year head coaches. I think that's correct. And
well, you mean both,
which I mean,
both coaches are first year
yeah,
coaches,
both
right?
having first year
Correct.
coaches. UNC hasn't had a lot of turnover. I mean, they really have.
Heck
Roy
no.
Williams was there for how long? Dean Smith.
They had a small one right between Dean Smith and Roy, because they had 2 between them.
Doherty.
And oh boy, he was on staff with Dean.
Oh, the guy that
Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
Or Guthridge. Was it Guthridge or Guthrie? I don't know. Whatever.
You have to tell us all about it, Greg.
Anyway.
I don't know if you guys were even born. Now I got to go check this out. Oh my gosh.
No. Well, and one other thing too as well, though, before I get off this UNC thing, because it was also something that was talked about a lot, which I wouldn't say it's a really grind my gears thing, but yeah, I won't necessarily jump there. Well, you know what? Here, give me a second. I'm gonna jump there. So let's jump there real quick to really grinds my gears here.
You know what really grinds my gears?
All right. So real quick. So, everybody's talking about this whole Matt Abel thing. Yeah, he went on Instagram Live and, they asked the question, there was a comment in the question, or, a question in the comment section. Sorry, I got my words backwards there. That said, why did you go to UNC, and which is your rival? And he basically made a comment saying higher level, which here's my thing. I'm sitting here like, everybody's like, what? How could he say that? I'm like, well, what do you expect him to say? Like, I mean, hey, listen, it's a rivalry. Like, listen, I'm all about stirring the pot, Greg. Listen, I am not away at all from stirring that pot right there. So hey, good for him. If it stirs a couple of State fans' pots, whatever. Like, for me, Greg, and obviously maybe you're a little bit different here, but I'm almost like, also, hey, listen, it was under Will Wade, like I'm not going to say what, like, don't you disrespect? Well, no, you can disrespect that head coach. That's okay. You can disrespect that head coach. That's okay. But Greg, what's your 2 cents on it?
Don't care.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean,
that was more like 1 cent, Greg.
Yeah.
See, so we're actually not that far off, Greg.
And the only reason I'm entertaining it right now because you've asked me the question, but other than that, I hadn't even given.
You're the one over there shaking your head on it.
No, it's just I don't care. Like that's why I'm shaking my head. Like it doesn't matter. It's no offense. He's a 20-year-old kid that doesn't know crap about life, doesn't know about anything. Got to go spouting off at his mouth. Like that's what they do. They talk. Like that's all it is. And at the end of the day, go prove it. Go beat NC State. If you've got some kind of grudge, go make it happen on the court. Other than that, he's just talking for clicks, because that's what this generation is. It's all about me and look at me and look what I'm going to say on me. I mean, they call it Instagram. Like it's instant reaction, right? Like who gives a crap? I don't.
Ethan, anything to add to that?
I mean, I don't care a ton either. I mean, it is, kids, like, I hate to be the old guy, kids these days. But
hey, I'm not the old guy for once.
Right. To me, it's like the prestige in a video game, like it takes years to change. Is what he's saying right now true? No. I mean, in the last 2 years, State's been a better, 3 years now, I guess, since State was in the Final Four, right? State's been a better program, right? Like they went to the Final Four. They won an ACC title. This year State and UNC were essentially a wash. So,
I mean, we have the same amount of fired coaches in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So State and UNC have been on the same level
3 years.
the
even.
last 3 years, I would say.
Mhm.
And it just takes years to kind of change that perception. So I would say he's probably he's at a higher prestige school, which, hey, that matters to some kids. But the reality of the situation, I'm sure he's getting paid more. He was not going to get paid or get the role that he wanted at NC State. That was decided long ago. And I think it's, I don't want to call them NC State's leftovers, but
It kind of is.
it kind of is. Like, and it's
Flip it.
hard because it's kind of hard because like
It
I
was
don't want
always
to be
going to be
like,
between McNeil and Abel, right? Like that was really the battle.
I don't think there was a debate. I don't think that was.
I don't either. I don't either.
Yeah.
But if you're going to
You're
make
saying
one,
you
that
had
was
to pick one.
correct.
Yeah, it wasn't,
and that
votes.
was also the one where dollars for dollars that seemed like the most comparable comp.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and you're projecting Paul McNeil to be in the same role that he had last year, maybe a few more shots, right? So that's a much easier projection to make. I think you feel better about that. But what is UNC asking Matt Abel to do? And again, this goes back to the concerns with UNC, where it's like Matt Abel was the 6th, maybe the 5th best player. I mean, we during the year I wanted him playing over Holloman, so maybe he was the 5th best player. But now UNC needs him to be like 2,
Second.
3, 4. Like, yeah, they need him to be better in a bigger role than he was at NC State while being better. That's kind of why I have question about UNC. So again, good for Abel. Like, he got a raise. He's got a better role. What does that tell you about the program that he's going to?
Yeah, I agree. Like, at the end of the day, he's got an opportunity that he was solely looking for that wasn't going to happen at NC State. And that you saw glimpses of it last year, but and I don't know. I don't know why I'm even talking about this because I told you I didn't care. But
I think talking about his role in transition to UNC is different than him saying,
Yeah,
I'm at a higher level.
No, yeah, that's 100%. I think he will take a step, and that's, I don't want to spend another 30 seconds to say that exact statement. Like, he will get better, just because I think, to your point, the volume that he's going to be asked to handle the ball, I think the offense is going to run a lot through him, and because of all of that, I think just organically it will show more on the stat sheet.
Well, I mean, Greg, you would sure hope that that working with a coach who made Nikola Jokic the player he is, and the guy that made LeBron James into the second greatest, if not greatest player of all time. I mean, like, for sure he's going to get better if you're working with that coach, right? Because without him, those two guys would be nothing, right? Just dirt.
It would seem that way.
It was sure painted that way.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to talk crap, but the man does have an NBA championship ring. His credentials speak louder than 99.9% of NC State's fan base. But I get it. It's fun to talk a little smack because that is quote unquote your rival.
For sure.
But it will be interesting to see if he does develop. Like, that at the end of the day is what I'm curious about. Like, he was probably going to be a second round draft pick this year.
Do you think so?
I do. I don't know. I just think I don't, Ethan, what do you think? I just think he would. I think he would have gotten drafted, but his money numbers are going to be better in college, and that's the deciding factor of why these guys are going back to college for guaranteed money. Whereas if you're getting drafted in the second round, you're most likely a two-way kind of guy. Or actually, is their contracts guaranteed? I don't even follow NBA that seriously.
It depends, but a lot of them are two-way. A lot of the second rounders are two-way. So I don't know if he would have gotten drafted or not. I mean, yeah, he probably takes a step forward, but if you're NC State, would you have been willing to take the bet on Matt Abel being your second best player this year, I should say?
No.
To me, NC State told you their answer is no. I mean, and it was with Will Wade, but I don't want to be the bad guy and say something good about Will Wade, but like, I trust Will Wade's roster evaluation. And so I think the fact that he said, hey, I'm like, this is not something I want to do. Like,
Ethan, what are you saying, my man?
That tells me,
what are you saying?
Hey, we'll see how it goes for UNC. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, and dude, like if this was Rams talk, we could even talk about even Henry Visar turn down $5 million this coming year to.
Hold on, if we're gonna do that,
No. Yeah. Nope, we ain't doing that.
that's not about to happen.
No, we ain't. Let's jump on over to Pack Pro of the Week, y'all.
Pack Pro of the Week.
Mr. LuJames Groover. Gotta give a shout out to the man. 388-foot homer to left field. First MLB home run. So definitely put a little star in the chat. Let us know in the chat if you saw the clip of or even saw him live hit that home run. As that was a great hit for sure. And again, just great to see. Just another player once again. We talked about him getting called up, but now Greg, him taking the next step, hitting his first MLB homer, which is, I don't know, kind of a way of passage right now with the MLB. Just everybody right now, you gotta get your home run to really be discussed, and now he's finally got it. And I think as long as the Diamondbacks continue to leave him be and let him feel his groove here, I expect many more home runs to come.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love Gino. He definitely has been struggling with the Diamondbacks a little bit. He did get this home run against the Cardinals last week. The Diamondbacks as a whole have just got swept by my Rays. Hey, by the way, Ethan, congrats on your Sox getting a sweep there this weekend over the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm sure you felt a little better about life.
First ray of light we've had in 3 months.
Sorry, I just wanted to give you a little something to.
Hey, it's
On.
something. Hey, it's something. We'll take it.
It is something. Sorry, but no.
Without any judge.
I hope Gino sticks right now. He's not in like an everyday player, and so it's kind of just hard to stay in a good mindset. And but yeah, I mean, he's a rookie. He's learning the big leagues, and I hope that he gets some more opportunities. And I think that's just what he needs. He just needs more reps. Just hope that the Diamondbacks can get that for him. Sometimes when you're not just catching fire, you're going to sit the bench, and right now he just needs reps at any level. And that's my biggest concern is he's not getting the everyday reps at the big league club. And so I'm worried because I got tickets to go see him in a couple of weeks when they come to the Nats. So I'm hoping he's still with them. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I hope so. I hope he sticks. I do.
I don't remember the circumstances of him getting called up. I don't know if it was like
it was an injury
or
it was the
it?
first base. Yeah, when they collided, it was like a collision play. I think it was the first baseman and the pitcher on a comebacker or something to that effect. But yeah. Oh no, yeah, it was I know what it was. It was a bad throw, and the base runner and the first baseman kind of hit each other.
Okay. How long is he supposed to be out? Do we know?
No, he's back in the lineup.
Oh.
I think he just came back not too long ago. So yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that I hope I'm wrong. I want Gino to stick. I think he's got, we've talked about it ad nauseum that he's got the talent. He just needs the opportunity.
Yeah. So also too as well, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Quadir Copeland too as well, getting signed in a two-way contract with the Houston Rockets. So I don't know, Ethan, obviously of the three of us, you're probably obviously the one that follows NBA the most here. What do you foresee for Quadir Copeland? Do you see him eventually being able to make an NBA roster?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a grind for him. Two-way is a good place to start, and you play well in summer league, and then you hope to kind of get a look at some point over the course of a season, which on a two-way you will. There's a limited number of games that you can come up for. I think his style of play, I think can catch somebody's eye with his size and his ability to get to the rim and his ability to create. I also kind of feel like some of the stuff that you don't like about his game feels fixable, right? Like Darion Williams, for example, didn't sign a contract, at least
which is wild. Yeah, no, he has.
I was surprised by that too, but like Darion Williams' shortcomings, like I don't know that they're fixable. Like he's,
his shortcomings is he's too short and he doesn't really fit you
and
know,
he's not
the
athletic.
power.
Like he's not
Yeah.
athletic. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's tough. I mean, guards in the NBA are 6'6". Like you can get away with being the 6'6",
But you gotta be quick though. But
you got to be quick, and
Yeah.
he, he's just not. So,
and he doesn't shoot at a high clip either for a guard.
Right. But for me with Copeland, like it's shooting, it's touch, it's finishing around the rim, it's things like that. I think his athleticism will play. I think his defensive ability, his intensity. I mean, how can you not love his intensity, especially if you're a guy who's coming in and saying, "Hey, I may only get 5 minutes." Well, that intensity is going to stick out. It absolutely is.
He'll sell some merchandise for sure.
So,
He would sell some merchandise.
So, I mean, look, maybe he gets a look and then goes from there. But you got to start there. It's a long road just to kind of get that first look and say, "Hey, I'm on the radar."
At this point, it's an opportunity. Now you got to go take advantage of it. It just boils down to that. You can't squander an opportunity because you don't know how many you're going to get.
Right. No, absolutely. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we're going to jump on over to one of our other segments called Ethan's Stat Pack, y'all, and let's jump into it. Big thanks to Alpha Wolf CPR Trainings for sponsoring our segment, Ethan's Stat Pack. Are you looking to get CPR certified for your business, school, church, team, or organization? Alpha Wolf CPR Trainings makes it easy by bringing the training directly to you. Alpha Wolf CPR Trainings is an American Red Cross licensed training provider offering adult and pediatric first aid, CPR, and AED certification courses. Whether you prefer hybrid learning or a full instructor-led class, they customize the training to fit your group's needs, including adult-only or pediatric-only certifications. With successful completion, participants also receive an official American Red Cross certification, valid for 2 years and meeting OSHA standards. Convenient, professional, and tailored to your schedule, Alpha Wolf CPR Trainings helps you stay prepared when every second matters. To learn more and schedule your class, visit alphawolfcpr.square.site today. So, with that being said, Mr. Ethan, what you got for us here this week?
So, I wanted to touch on Robert Jurkovic, a guy who I think has kind of slid under the radar. Coming from overseas, like how much do people really know about him? First thing that stands out, 37% career three-point shooter. Now, that includes in his first season, he shot 19%. So, and it was limited volume. The last 2 years, 43% and 42%. That's going to play, right? Like when you talk about what he's giving you as a potential rebounder, his per 36 minutes, I know NC State likes kind of the under the hood numbers that he brings to the table, but his per 36 numbers, which is kind of how you extrapolate for role players, right? You're looking at 8 rebounds a game. You're looking at 1 block a game. Only 4 fouls per 36 minutes. Again, that's important. I know people are always like, "Oh, our bigs are going to get in foul trouble." Well, that's a number that I think should make you feel encouraged. A guy that knows how to defend. Referees are different, right? But yeah, I mean that's what stands out about him. It's his shooting. 43% last year, 42%. Those are the numbers that I'm looking at. And as a guy, I've talked about it with Emily Yalaho. I wonder if that spot couldn't be up for grabs. I really wonder if Yalaho couldn't get beaten out for that starting 4. He just doesn't check a ton of boxes. I think that you look at the other guys in the rotation that you project in the starting lineup, they check multiple boxes. And it's not that Yalaho is a bad player or anything like that, but I just wonder if there's going to be a surprise player, that would be the spot that I would look at it. And for me, Robert Jurkovic is that kind of guy. I think he, when you look at what NC State was doing in the backup big market, I think they paid for this guy. I don't think this was just a free, we're going to take a flyer on Robert Jurkovic. But again, a shooter who fits it, like that fits in with everything else you're trying to do. He's been a better shooter than Yalaho. Again, over 40% 2 years in a row in professional basketball. Yeah, like that catches my eye. Again, strong rebounder, knows how to defend without fouling. I think you could see him get some minutes at the 5. I think Jurkovic is a guy, and I think part of it is people are scarred maybe from seeing international players. Not feels like every time we hype him up, right? Oh, this international guy, he's going to be good. And I think maybe that scarred some people. But I think Jurkovic checks those boxes, and I look at his 3-point shooting. 43%, 42%, 2 years in a row. To me, that's a guy who's going to be able to carve out a big role and potentially push Yalaho for those starting minutes at the 4.
Well, here's my thing, Greg, too, and to I'll ask you this to build off Ethan here. I feel like of all the stats though that are kind of harder to debate when it comes to transferring from, let's say, the Sun Belt to the ACC or transferring from Europe to the United States is shooting percentage. Because at the end of the day, like, the hoop is 10 feet high, it's probably about, if not exactly the same distance away. And so at the end of the day, if you're able to make 40% of your baskets in a basketball game against other competition, I mean, that's a stat I would say is probably gonna have a high likelihood of having the ability to transfer to the ACC or to the United States NC State here.
Yeah, there is a slight difference. The international court is a little bit different shaped, so the arc is a little different in the corners, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's only a slight, like 7/10 or 7 inches or something, not minimal at the end of the day. I am excited to see Ethan. You are so right. We have hyped up some international guys in the past, and it's it's the great unknown because it's a little harder to find tape on these guys from an average fan. I do think that looking at his numbers, the league he played in was pretty solid.
Mhm.
I think we're only going to get 1 year out of him from what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
He's
Just because
24 already. Yeah.
yeah, so whatever. I mean, that's not as old as some of these other guys that were coming back. These G League players and
Well, but I mean, if you
sorry,
think about
go
it,
back.
like he would be 25 like I don't know, at some point you
Yeah.
got to age out. Would he even want to play more, you know?
Yeah.
So
No, I
and
get
and
it.
I think the other thing you look at with Torvik and the roster projections, I don't know how much stock I put into the individual projections, but it has Jurkovic as State's 4th best player. Now it also has Darius Adams 3rd, which I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that kind of tells you like Jurkovic has the kind of profile that could translate. And Leighton, you made a great point. Like you can trust the 3-point shooting to translate, right? Shooting a basketball is shooting a
Shooting is shooting.
basketball.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with Musa Sanya, okay, well, it's a completely different role. He's a defensive guy. You're not looking for offense from him. That's the kind of thing. But when we're talking just shooting,
Yeah.
you expect that to translate, especially as
Yeah.
a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna say if you give him an open look, it's just
Right.
shooting the ball. The only
Mhm.
thing is the basketball probably looks different, right? But again, it's still a basketball.
That's
Um,
right.
I
Same size.
Yeah, exactly. I am excited. That's something that the one if you were going to talk a stat pack and maybe you pull this up for next week, is we talk about 3-point shooting as a whole for this team. I think this is something that can it's the way that basketball has shifted. It's shifted from an inside game to an outside game. I think that this team has the potential to shoot in the probably 36 to 38, 39% range. I think that has the ability, and then depending on volume, and we brought in the offensive coach, I guess, or coordinator, whatever they don't really call coordinators in basketball, but the guy from Georgia. I think this is
Yeah.
going to be a really good offense. And then I think you talked about it on something, Ethan, last week that I heard you with James, and you were talking about Gainey's calling card being the defense. I think that this team is going to surprise some folks. I really do. And it's going to be a fairly, there'll be 2 or 3 teams that will be there, but I think State could be in that next tier, much like they were last year.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
say
Well,
State could surprise people, what do you think general expectations are right now?
Well, full disclosure, I listened to yours and James' podcast about expectations,
But
and
I'm
I
not asking
know.
about us though. I'm asking
No, no,
about
no,
like
no,
what is
no,
it?
I'm not. I'm not. And where I was going with this was where the CBS guy had State ranked.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that State could finish in the, and you're talking one game. One game can make a difference between 5th and 9th, right? So I do expect a
Right.
bunch in there somewhere, but I don't think it's out of the question for State to finish 5, 6, 7 somewhere in that in that range. And I think to some of the points that you guys were making yesterday, I think that would be exceeding expectations. Like I thought the expectations all along from last year's team was State finishes top 3, 4, and that was it. And then when they finished where they finished around ninth, was it ninth, seventh? I can't remember. My mind is old, but yeah. But for many, that's not. And I think if State finishes seventh, this team, I think that would be above expectation. But again, I just think because there's just not the buzz with all the name recognition that we had from last year's squad.
Well, I honestly think too as well that
puberty.
I know I got a little something in my throat. Well, I'm sorry, I've been just sitting here in the back while you and
collecting
Ethan
dust
going back and forth here. Yeah, exactly. No, so because here's my thing too. I don't know if it's been done on purpose either, but I kind of love it how Gainey's kind of been a complete like backseat coach really ever since he really got here. In the fact of like, he's not like all in your faces. He's done a couple of on three, recruits, things like that, but he's not going out there making these crazy statements saying, "Oh, year one, you better watch out, man." Like, Pack's coming, like, kind of deal.
Red
like
Reckoning and all that
Red
nonsense.
Reckoning, all that jazz. But even less, and even I feel like if you were to put like, put him on a scale of first year head coaches, like, he's not really going out there making all these big promises and big statements, kind of deal.
But it's
and
not
so
his personality too, right? I
no,
think
exactly.
that was the difference, right? And I think, you talk about course correcting, in the government and the military, it's like you go one way and that doesn't work, but we don't come back to a middle. We go extreme opposite, and so at some point it's gonna all kind of level set, and I think that's where we're at with Gainey. You've kind of gone in multiple directions, and I just think that this is going to be, as the young kids like to say, let them cook, right? Like just give them some time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did that right, but
pretty good.
I am excited. I'm excited for this team, but it's we talked about it earlier with the roster, with the jersey numbers and the names, and it's just we got to learn this and give them time, and let it come together and marinate.
Yeah. So I want to jump into though here a little bit here is Ethan put out a sweet video on our Patreon. If you haven't already, make sure to go check out our Patreon. The link's down in the description and it's down in the comment section too as well. Go check out our Patreon. Only $5 a month. You get access to 3 members only videos per week, plus also to access to our members only rumor chat too as well. So basically, about 12 videos a month. Plus our members only rumor chat for only $5 a month. It's an amazing deal, a ton of value there, and you get specific access to this video specifically. And so we won't necessarily break down all the details here, Ethan. We won't ask you to redo the whole video right here on the live show here today. But the video was specifically talking about your educated guess on who the top 10 highest paid NC State players will be going into this upcoming season here. So football, basketball, maybe even some cross country. Who knows? Here.
I did consider some other players.
Yeah. So when first of all, I want to ask you, Ethan. So when you were putting this list together, was there one name in particular after kind of doing some thinking on it that was like, okay, maybe this player is maybe one of the bigger shocks on this list that State fans may not think about? Because shocker here, CJ Bailey and Paul McNeil are on this list somewhere. Ooh, whoa, clickbait there.
Yeah, those were pretty easy, right? Biggest surprise. I think I would go. I don't know. Do you guys have a surprise that was on there?
No. I don't know. Like I follow it pretty closely, and I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm good.
Well, I mean, for me, I would say Brian Nelson. Brian Nelson wasn't a name I was expecting to be on this list. Not
he was a
necessarily
solid
like
player, though. I mean,
solid player, but just like if I were to put this list together, It would be one
He wouldn't
that
have been
somebody
on
would have
your
to remind
list.
me. Brian Nelson should be on the list. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Well,
Brian Nelson.
I did have to pull the
I mean, he's
roster
not a
up just to
household.
make sure
Yeah.
I didn't forget anybody.
Yeah, he's not a household name, but he should
no.
be.
Yeah,
In the State family, in the State
right.
fan family, if you will.
I think the biggest surprise for me would be Teague Anderson. I had him pretty high up on the list, to be honest. But I think when you look at positional value of what tackles are going for, like, he's not as big of a name as a Duke Scott or a Keenan Jackson or even some of the defensive guys that they landed, King Mack, Popo
But he protects
Aguirre.
the quarterback. That's the
He
thing.
protects the quarterback. Yeah, and
He protects that investment.
yeah, and I think keeping him out of the portal. He had a good year for you last year. I don't think he came cheap. Like I don't know. Like if you were to talk like biggest names or most commonly known names on the football team, apparently this is a discussion we have to have because there's so much turnover now. Like I don't think he would be in the top 5. Obviously, you'd have C.J. Bailey. Then,
but
like,
see, I disagree
Duke Scott,
though.
Keenan Jackson. Like to me, Spike Souls is a bigger name.
Yeah, but it's about like it's a couple things, right? It's position of value. It's what can you get to replace him. It's again, if you follow it, it makes sense. But again, to your point, people that I wouldn't even say casual fans, but fans as a whole normally can't name the starting offensive lineman, right?
True. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And so with that, based off of that, then yeah, it probably would come as a surprise to folks. But again, if you're in the weeds and up on Twitter, IPS, Pack Power, whatever, if you're in those chat forums, and it's not uncommon to be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, because here's my thing too, as well, because like I kind of think of like looking at your list, Ethan, I kind of look at it as it reminded me of about I think it was like 8 to 10 years ago, something like that. It was a while ago. But when Shannon Sharp and what's his name? The annoying the Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, when those two together. And ESPN came out with this list of like the top 100 players, and it had like Aaron Donald and JJ Watt as number 1, number 2, and Skip Bayless was saying, "Well, that's crazy. Like the quarterback is by far the most important player on the field. How is the top 30 not just all quarterbacks?" And like Shannon Sharp was saying what we all were saying, which was, well, yeah, no, like no, this list is basically saying like Aaron Donald and JJ Watt are just that much better than every other defensive end, defensive tackle that you can get, that they're just that much more valuable because of how much of a position advantage you would get getting those two guys. And I don't know, like, do you feel like, Ethan, that kind of metaphor about, the value, do you think that kind of ties into it all about a list at all of kind of like, when you're putting this list together about, who the most valuable players probably are?
Wait, are you saying valuable as in dollar wise, right? Not as an importance to the team.
Yeah. In terms of like dollars, because like, like looking at this list, like there's some guys on this top 10 list that are making, 2, 3, 4, 5, even maybe million. I don't know necessarily how high it's going for these top
Hopefully
names
not
up
4
here.
or 5.
Yeah. So, so like when you're kind of putting this list together, do you kind of see it in that kind of same aspect of like these guys are so much more valuable than every other player that is on NC State's athletics roster next year, that they're worth that level of money?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the way you have to build rosters, making sure you're valuing certain positions more. I would, to really get into the weeds of it, and I'll try not to go on too long, so cut me off if I do. But, in baseball, the big stat is WAR, right? Wins above replacement. And your WAR is artificially boosted by the position that you play, right? So center fielder, shortstop, catcher, those are the 3 toughest defensive positions. So your WAR is higher just by playing those positions, right? And so I would take that and apply it to certainly football. Basketball is a little tougher. Only 5 positions. They're more so interchangeable. I think that's harder to do. But to me, that's why Kyle Evans was so high on the list, was because of how tough it is to land centers. And
Right.
I think like when you
Tall
look
people
at
don't
where
grow on
guys,
trees.
right, and if you look at where like Kyle Evans lands on the list, like that's one that kind of surprised me. But I was sat there and I was like, okay, I was like, centers I think are costing more than guards, and I think he was just as productive as Preston Edmeade. So yeah, Kyle Evans is ahead of Edmeade, right? And so same thing for football. I talked about it on there. To me, it's quarterback, and then it's getting after the quarterback. So those are your tackles and your pass rushers, and then
Your
it's your
ends,
wide
yeah.
receivers, your wide receivers and your corners who match up with each other. So if NC State is not taking that and taking those things into consideration, then I would be I don't know what the word is.
Shocked.
Surprised, disappointed, concerned,
Yeah,
disappointed.
yeah, that's probably better. Yeah.
Yeah, like that absolutely. You can't pay a running back, and this is the discussion you had with Hollywood Smothers. You can't pay a running back the same as and Hollywood Smothers is great, but you can't pay him as much as you would pay left tackle, for example, right?
Well,
And
you can if you're Ohio State, Texas A&M, Texas, the big boys. NC
well, but you're
State
still paying
cannot.
your quarterback more though.
Agreed, but when the rumor is that Ohio State has a $40 million roster,
Yeah, you can throw your money around a little bit.
You can absorb it. Yeah, correct. You have to be a little bit
You can
more.
waste $1 million. Yeah,
Absolutely, you can. You can take flyers. State can't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100% right. Yeah, Wolfpack Nation. So, and Ethan, is there any other kind of big points at all from your list that you want to throw out here? Just to kind of tease a little bit more.
No, it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I'm thinking about going back and doing last year. Obviously, we have a little bit more information on that at this point.
That's fair.
But yeah, it was fun.
Last year versus production.
What do you mean?
Like last year's value equal to production. Like, did we get good value for that based off of production? Like that would be a fun mental gymnastics exercise.
Yeah.
Basically, what Greg is saying,
Yeah.
Ethan, is that like you start with Quadir Copeland number one, and then you just work your way down, kind of deal.
Yeah, I think he would definitely be high on that list.
Yeah. Surplus value, is that what you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not good at public.
Yeah, Quadir Copeland is definitely number one on that list. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I don't even think it's even up for debate.
No, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I've got to tape some stuff because I won't be around next week, so I got to tape some stuff so we can get that out. But I like that idea. Top surplus values last year. Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, let's jump on over to one of my personal favorites here, which is tweets of the week. Let's jump into it. Our first one here, got to give a shout out to our man Donovan Phillip, man, getting named by the FB's Men's Sports Best College Athlete nominee. Which, I mean, that's quite the honor here, Greg, because I don't know about you, but I don't see many men's soccer players getting thrown out as the SB's Men's Sports Best College Athlete nominee. That's quite the honor, to say the least. And then that shows you honestly how dominant Donovan Phillip was in men's soccer or in collegiate this past season.
Absolutely, he did win the Herman, and so when you're he voted the top player in your sport, and you're up for a multi-sport award, it does make sense. But to your point, soccer normally doesn't get the love as football and basketball, even baseball, and so the fact that he's in the same breath as these other athletes, it's Fernando Mendoza, which he probably will end up winning the award just because football, American football, if you will, reigns king. Cameron Boozer is the other one, and then I'm not even trying to say the other name, but he's a Penn State wrestler, Mitchell Mizenbrick, Brink, I guess. That's the other finalist. So 4 finalists. You can go and vote. We'll make sure we tweet that out as well. But this is a fan vote, and we can try to get our guy over the hump and get him an ESPY. Though, again, Fernando Mendoza, I think, is going to just win this because, I mean, Indiana's Alumni Association is the biggest in the country. And if they're out voting, we don't really stand a chance. But let's get out and vote and see if we can get him an ESPY.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ethan here, I'm, how, like, if you were to make a ranking of like, and maybe this is probably something we should do during this offseason here in terms of like pulling like the top 10 moments from this past or past NC State athletic season here. Like the semifinals matchup, especially with it being in Cary, like that one's gonna be hard to beat, man. Like, I know, Greg, you were there for it, man.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, Ethan. I feel like that moment's gotta be pretty high on the list, and again, Donovan
Yeah.
Phillip has a lot to do with that.
Well, State didn't end up winning, but coming back in the final too, tying it with 3
Absolutely.
minutes left, would certainly be up there. Yeah, I mean, when you talk about it, like State didn't really win at a high level. Like you would default to football, basketball, baseball. They didn't really win anything. Maybe you throw the Georgia Tech game out there, I guess.
For sure.
But yeah, it's right there at the top of the list in
I
terms
mean, we had
of moments of the year. I
we
think.
had cross country national championship,
Yeah.
so I would make that my moment. Anytime you win a national championship, I think.
Yeah. So, also too, though, I want to give highlight one other tweet here, which we had already kind of hinted at a little bit here earlier. But when talking about NC State buying out the return game of its home and home series with VCU for $190,000, VCU coach coming out here with a quote saying, "We don't duck smoke. Other people will clearly duck smoke." Greg, do you think that he practiced that quote in the mirror the night before he said this?
Obviously, this is just. I feel like it's coach speak. Getting his fan base riled up. It's at the end of the day, Justin Gainey doesn't give a damn. He's got his birthday. He's got his bank account. He's got his team. He doesn't care. Like, let people talk. Again, we've already made our bones about it, I think, and I know Ethan would agree that we should keep this game, but I also understand some of the reasoning why. Yeah, just let them talk. Again, same thing about the Matt Abel thing earlier. I don't care. Like, it's sports. I mean, egos and all of this are going to get in people's way, and it's about who can voice themselves the loudest. And there's something else I was going to say, but we're not after dark yet.
Not
Yeah.
after dark, Greg. It's 9:30.
Yeah, we gotta go 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
10,
okay.
yeah, 10, we gotta hit 10 o'clock to go after dark. That's kind of the standard we've set here, Ethan, which, since we've had you on, we haven't really gone long enough to
Okay.
get to that point yet. So, but yeah, Ethan, I mean, same thing. Anything you kind of add here to this?
No, I mean, hard to disagree with him, I guess. Like I think State didn't want to play the game for whatever reason. Like that's kind of the perception you have to deal with, and State has their reasons, I'm sure. And
Oh, yeah.
But would you say it
No.
ducking? I mean, would you call it ducking at the end of the day?
I think in a professional setting, it's surprising to see that. I would say
Yeah,
behind,
Yeah.
I think that's something you say behind closed doors.
agreed. That's
Um,
great. That's a great point.
So I don't like. I don't know what the reason is. Like I would love to get some truth serum to Justin Gainey and know why. Were they worried about a loss? Were they? I don't know. Like as long as there's still buy home games on the schedule, I'm going to complain about this one.
But again, like
So
to me, especially with your NC State, like, is there really that opponent that you're trying to get away from, kind of deal? Like,
I mean, this was
I
a
don't
very
know.
losable game. Like if
I mean, it's a
you're
losable
worried
game,
about that,
but it's not a game I'm going to that I'm like, oh my gosh, well, all right, this one's gonna be a loss. I'm gonna lose by 40. Let me get the heck out of here, kind of deal. Like,
I
this
mean,
ain't that.
Are you worried about the perception of potentially losing to VCU? Like if you lose to VCU, like for example, State played VCU. I think it was the third or fourth game of the year. People are already kind of lukewarm. Like the hype certainly isn't at the same level. If you lose an early season game to VCU, who people are just going to look at the name on the front of the jersey and say, "Oh, you lost to VCU." Like, are you worried about the PR aspect of it? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be, but
The PR aspect or the fan aspect? The sky is falling after game 4.
yeah, both. Yeah.
Yeah. So also too want to highlight two of our very own Rhett Johnson and Anderson Nance playing for the Stars and Stripes. And I actually saw a video clip here today, actually, Greg, of Rhett Johnson giving a nice whoop or what to the catcher here today and getting in for a run here. But I mean, Greg, I'll kind of let you speak on this. This is definitely up your wheelhouse here, and even it is up to yours too as well. But obviously, for me, baseball is always going to go to Greg here first here, man. Which
Yeah,
I'm sure you
Ethan
understand.
knows his stuff too.
Oh, he knows his stuff here, but
I learned
I
from
just,
you, Greg.
I see Greg. I think baseball. I don't know. Just so.
Yeah, I think this is from what I've seen, Reds had a nice camp. So for anyone that doesn't understand what's going on here, this is the Stars and
good.
Stripes. The collegiate, it's basically like the under 18 or the, if you follow the World Baseball Classic, this is essentially the college version. So there's two teams, Stars and Stripes, made up of mostly freshmen and sophomores, and that they compete. This is like a training camp, and then they'll select a team that will go overseas and compete for the collegiate world title, if you will. There'll be a couple games in Taiwan. They'll play Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. And it's like a World Series, if you will. And so yeah, both of these guys are up for that honor. Last year we had both Jacob Duden and Ryan Marone represent Team USA. And yeah, so Reds had a really good camp so far, and Nance's minimal. He was very effective.
Yeah. Ethan, anything to add to that?
No, I mean, it's just a big honor, right? Like, these are the best players in the country, and it kind of tells you how these guys are perceived. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's a surprise to us. A little surprised Mikey Ryan didn't get invited, to be honest. I know, kind of quietly, I think the perception on him was lower than what his results ended up being. So I'm a little surprised.
I think if he doesn't get injured, I think that injury.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how little ACC representation there is as a conference that's perceived as well as it is. I believe there was only 9 guys invited to this camp. But yeah, I think Rhett does have a really good chance of making this team. This is Nance's second opportunity or second go around at it. It would be great that if he could make it this go around. But if Rhett doesn't make it this year, and he has the same type of year that he had this past season, my guess is he'll be right back there next season as well.
Agreed. So staying in the NC State baseball wheelhouse here, got another portal edition here from Texas outfielder Maddox Mansoor, which by the way is I think if it's got to be a top 10 collegiate baseball name for sure. Love that name. That's a sick name. Committed to NC State. The athletic freshman outfielder joins the Wolfpack after starting 14 games and appearing in 36 for the Horns in 2026 here. Ethan, I know on our Patreon, which again, go check out in the link in the down description below. You did a video breaking down Maddox and giving us your thoughts on him. So give us the quick highlights here, Ethan, in terms of what you thought of this portal commitment for Coach Chris Hart.
Well, I mean, he had 60 at bats last year for Texas, which was a loaded team, loaded outfield in particular. Those 60 at bats were not very good. They were quite bad, I would say. And he had a little bit of opportunity to get a starting job and run with it. I want to say it was like late April, early May. He had basically 2 weeks where he started every game, and it just didn't go well. So, yes, some concerns, but again, where does he slot in? If he ends up being your 4th, 5th outfielder, okay, cool. That's fine. If you played tomorrow, he's probably starting for you, which I would not love at this point in time. But again, talented guy who certainly could go out, get better, and earn a role. But yeah, I mean, right now, based off of the 60 plate appearances at Texas, a lot of times you can find something to point to and say, hey, I like this. There really wasn't that with Mansoor and his at bats at Texas. But again, he was at Texas, and it's 60 at bats, and like not an easy spot to be in.
Yeah, Greg, any quick comments here on this kit?
No, he's a guy that you're hoping that he can kind of find his groove, and that he learned a few things, and then just get better. At the end of the day, he had an opportunity there, like Ethan said, just didn't work out for him. This is an opportunity to get a fresh start. He's a Georgia kid, so a little bit closer back to home. You don't know what, it's a big transition going from high school to college, and then especially in the SEC. And again, I trust Hart and the rest of the staff in evaluating talent. But yeah, I think there is upside here. You just got to tap into it.
Yeah, no, definitely, hoping that Chris Hart can, pull off his usual magic, what you saw with a lot of guys that have come into the program previously, but like, AMAC is probably the Cinderella child, kind of that Chris Hart magic there. So, but other also big commitment too as well, and over I think 3 days ago by Bryson Hurt here, 3-star interior offensive lineman from Gainesville, Georgia, rated a 3-star on 24/7, the number 57 inside offensive lineman in the class. Had offers from Arkansas, Auburn, West Virginia, Colorado. Visit NC State on June 5th, so about a month ago, and sorry, about 3 weeks ago, maybe not quite a month ago. But I'm telling you, Greg, this is a heavy offensive lineman recruiting class for Coach Garrett Tujague here. I mean, do you see this as again, we always talk about recruiting, high school recruiting as being kind of like the guys that you want to develop, that you see a high potential there from where they currently are ranked right now. Does this kind of seem a little bit of an all-in approach here for Coach Tujague?
Well, I just think that's what Coach Tujague does. He builds great relationships. You've seen it over the last couple of years with not only the prep kids coming in, but the transfer portals. Teague was one of those guys where they brought in from, I believe it was Florida or Utah State or something. I can't remember where it was, but he just goes out and can get guys, and people just naturally gravitate to his persona and his bigger than life, kind of aura, if you will. And it's just not surprising. And then it's just see what can he do with the talent once he gets it on campus. And he's done a nice job. You were talking about the top 10 kind of paid athletes, and Spike was on that list. And the fact that we were able to retain him and Teague Anderson, again, that's all about Garrett Tujague and his relationships with these guys.
Yeah, 100%. Ethan, do you have any other kind of approach here, really, or do you think Greg kind of hit it on the head?
No, Greg hit it on the head. I would just every year it feels like Tujague is just bringing in 5 high school guys and 3 portal guys, and just constantly working, constantly trying to find guys, and it sticks out. I think that's the right approach in this era. Keep taking guys, keep finding players, keep taking guys. He's won a few big time recruitments. I think he's one of them. Had some really, really nice offers. And yeah, Tujague, him and Locklear to me stand out as the recruiters at their position with the number of guys they take. They're heavy on high schoolers, heavy in the portal. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the production coming from those. Oh, sorry, I was going to say the production coming from those positions, right? It's one thing to be able to recruit a guy and then develop him into, a star.
Yeah. So also too as well, I want to give a big shout out to Savage Wolves and One Pack NIL for throwing a once again a spectacular, phenomenal A+ elite event for the football celebration. Raised, I believe, about $430,000. I believe.
No, more than that actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no final total numbers come out, but I was told by one of our good people that's got some knowledge between 600,000 and 700,000.
Wow.
They didn't have that number you saw was the live auction number and money raised at the event itself, but then you had this other items that were up for bids, and those figures just hadn't come out yet. So, but good numbers, and more than last year, which is positive. It's encouraging that we don't have that donor fatigue that some programs have.
Yeah. But again, like, for me, it just speaks to Greg. Like, we always talk about all the time, like, what's, the benefit do I get, being a part of these NIL collectives, and this is definitely one of them. And like, just looking at all the different highlights, I mean, you had Philip Rivers, as you see here on the tweet of the week here, that got interviewed by Jeff Gravely. Jericho Cotchery was at the event. So, I mean, imagine if you're a diehard NC State fan and you see Jericho Cotchery and then Philip Rivers, man, like you can't help but get
And you
extremely
had
giddy on this.
yeah, you had others. Peyton was there.
Yep.
Naeem Hines was there. Some guys that a little bit before your guys' time, but still legends in their own right. Yeah, I think it's important, right? It's again, it's not for everyone. These events sometimes aren't cheap to attend, but
Nope.
there are affordable events and the auctions that they do and the giveaways and just there's ways to get involved and we got to keep plugging if you want to continue. And we talked about it, like the dollars raised doesn't guarantee success, but it definitely doesn't hurt. And I get it. Some people still haven't bought into it, but it is the way.
Yeah. No. Ethan, have you had an opportunity to attend any of these football celebrations?
I haven't, not yet, but
yeah.
I mean, they're obviously crucial. State Wolfpack does a great job putting them on, and getting some big names out there. Pretty big deal to get Philip Rivers out there.
Yeah.
Second time
and so
that he's attended.
Yeah, and a little bit different now with Gunnar committed, right? But still, to get him out there, and certainly that's a great way to engage with the fan base. And I know State does a great job with it. Wolfpack, I'm sorry, it's not run by the athletic department. Yeah,
Wolfpack / Savage.
Right.
I heard the line was longer to meet Gunnar than it was Philip.
Was Gunnar there?
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, okay.
Dang,
what about the line to
No, I'm just I by the way, I am kidding for anyone listening still right now. That was the
Was he there though?
He was. Gunnar was there.
Okay.
People were making their acquaintances.
For sure. Absolutely. I mean, listen, man. I mean, it's you can't help it, but as the saying is, like, lick your lips a little bit, thinking of, man, Gunnar Rivers running the NC State offense. Like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be sick. But hey, I know. Hey, man, but can't help it a little bit, man.
We still got CJ Bailey in this season, guys.
Oh,
Let's
for
go.
sure. Oh, for sure. No, I ain't overstepping. But just hey, it's a thought, Greg. It's a thought here. But
I get it.
Yeah,
it's hard not to get excited, right?
No, 100%. So, with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we appreciate everybody tuning in here with us once again. Always look forward every single week to talking all things NC State here once I can get the layout right here. But anyway, with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, it's free to do. It really helps support the channel a long way. And on top of it as well, it helps make sure that you stay notified whenever we release any new material. But also as well, if you haven't already, hit that like button if you haven't already done it. And if lighting up for you smash right now, is that way I'll be able to get this started out there to more interesting fans, and also TikTok. And lastly, and if not most importantly, make sure to go check out our Patreon. Only $5 a month, 3 members only videos a week, plus members only rumor chat too as well here. So, but we're excited with things to come here. But with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we will see y'all soon. And as always, go Pack, y'all.